Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lisa Ware, and we are on part 3 of prospecting and building a better business. And today's all about team building and why we should do it, how we should do it. Can you be any good at it if you're no good at it? Does that make sense? Anybody else sometimes think, I'm not that brilliant at prospecting people for the business, but do you know, I'm going to put my hand up here. I don't think I'm one of the best prospectors. Okay. I enjoy it. And when I bring someone in and I coach and mentor them, I love it to bits. But it's not sort of, I wouldn't say it was my main focus. If I had a main focus, I guess it's that I really love just helping people in general reduce their bills. I get a big kick out of that. And maybe I shouldn't, but I do. And the other side of it, though, is helping other people to get to this place that they want to be. And I just call it financial freedom. Because if you always wanted, for example, another £200 every month coming in, because that made the difference in your life, well, actually, who should knock that? Nobody. If you wanted £1,000 a month coming in because it would make the difference, that's good too. And if you want the big money, if you're after something like £5,000 plus a month, do you know, it's all possible. And I'm going to share this because it's quite hard to admit, but we have to be honest with ourselves. I'm definitely not the best recruiter. I'm sure Mr. Critch would say that. But one of the things that I picked up early on, and please take this on board, you are looking for people better than yourself. Isn't that great? You're looking for people that really would like this, see this as a vehicle to their financial freedom and stability. Because if you get people better than you, do you know what? They build a big network. How cool is that? So I've brought in some key people, but some of them have brought in a few people, not always immediately. And then someone's brought in someone, and do you know what? They've turned out to be key people. So to give you an example, because he's a good example, Mr. Stuart Edmonston, SGL, I didn't recruit. I met his auntie Marilyn, at a Simply Red concert at Bewley. And we got talking, and I gave her my card, and she rang me, or I might have rung her, I can't remember now. 3 weeks later, I went to see her, and to cut it all very short, she told me, because I remember saying, who do you know would love to have more money coming in? And she turned round and said, my nephew has got the Midas touch, and he thinks network marketing is amazing. And I said, let's phone him now. So I, possibly wrongly on reflection, obviously made her the recruiter because that was the right thing to do. She has subsequently quit, by the way. That was a bad move to do. But she was the key person to bring in somebody that ultimately became a really big leader. Yeah. I also brought in someone called Susie Davis. She's now Susie Moon. And I met her at Wimborne Market. And Susie, for a while, this wasn't her massive focus. It was something to do while her little ones. And then I helped her gradually build, and she brought in a few people, and some of those people were key people. So who did she bring in? Well, I coaxed her into bringing in a lady called Sharon Moore, known as Sharon Canning, who knew somebody key called Helen Frank, SGL, with a business of about 7,000 group customers. Not bad. Helen knew somebody that knew somebody called Paul Newth. Hasn't done masses himself, but brought in somebody in Scotland called John Overdyking, SGL. Susie knew somebody called Paul Hines. Paul Hines, SGL. You getting the drift here? It isn't always us. So isn't it key to say to yourself, do you know what? I don't necessarily have to be brilliant at this, but it's just a matter of getting in contact with people, because people know people that actually could know people that really could matter. So I bothered to spell that out because I think it's so important, because I think we can all get very hung up that we are not very good. To quote Mr. Barras, I saw something come up about him. To quote Mr. Barras, he always says things like, I'm learning to recruit. Isn't that better than I'm not very good? Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, I'm learning to recruit. And I would say 20 years down the line, I'm learning to recruit. And I share that with you. Yes, I've got better as I've gone along, but doesn't everybody get better when you practice? Yeah, of course you do. So let's show you some things to help you on your way. So if we go to the partner portal, believe in showing you to help you become independent partners is important. So please know this is your desktop. We've all got a desktop that looks the same. If you scroll down at the moment, one of the things that's there, and it's been there for quite some time, recruit to boost your business. All right, perhaps you might want to write that down. Click on it, and what comes up is, wow, loads of stuff to help you. Absolutely mental amount of things to help you. So there's how to get started. What do you need to know about recruiting? Recruitment skills and training, team communication training, more tools to help you recruit, how to support your team building podcasts, recruiting podcasts, team build. Oh my God, there's just loads. Look at that lot. Do you know what? We cannot say there's nothing here to help us. There's masses. So let's, what do you need to know about recruiting? Let's click on that. And, you know, there is all sorts of people here, right? Now, I mean, Stuart Ritchie is absolutely amazing. All right. He and Jaswant are really good. So look at this lot. Look, there's all this stuff to help us. Now, I can tell you that this stuff I do know, because I really do believe in it all. Okay. So let me just move my recruitment tools. Let's go back. Recruitment skills training. Let's click on that one. There we are. Actual virtual trainings. These are good. And what they've done, they seem to put them down into half-hour bite-sized chunks like I do with my coaching. So look, there's one tomorrow night, 8 till 8:30. Wednesday the 4th, 7:30 till 8. Sunday to fit round people, 10:30 to 11. There's all these, and you don't have to go anywhere. So we can't say, oh, well, I've got to get in the car and I've got to spend money on fuel and I've got to do this. It's all there for us. These are really good. And you will be one of many people on there in like a Zoom. So let's go back to another one. Let's do hang on. How to support your team. Look at this. Good stuff. Adjust your mindset. Accept people will work at their own page. Can I just say to you, that's one of the biggest factors. Right. I'm going to share this because I'm going to stop the share there. I'm going to talk about this. Some people believe if their team isn't engaged every single day and isn't reading all their stuff every day, they're not engaged. Not true. Absolutely not true. I can say to you that I know I send out information. The odd one or two people comment. Some people like, do a heart and all the rest of it. Some people never say a damn thing, but do you know what? They're looking. They're looking. It's a little bit like a Facebook page. Ever posted anything and thought, oh, not many people liked that. But I tell you what, there's a lot of people looking. And people stay silent in the background. And then all of a sudden, they might ignite and they might get going. And I can tell you that is the case for a lot of people. Shall I tell you who one of them was? Me. There I was, Mr. Plodder, Mrs. Plodder, I should say, 1 customer a month for 2 years. I was not lighting the world on fire. I was probably doing Mr. Barris's head in, like he had this potential woman that was in sales and she could do masses. And there I was doing 1 a month. But then my circumstances changed completely. And all of a sudden, timing was right. Bear that in mind with anyone in your team. Never dismiss them, ever. I know Mel's got a couple of people in her team, and timing is just everything. And one of those people, they are dealing with some serious family stuff, really challenging things. And you know what? We just have to be mindful. We have to have empathy, and we have to have patience. That's important. All right. So let me go back, share my screen. Focus on speaking to lots of different people. There we are. That's a huge tip. And don't worry that some people won't do more. Please, if they're not running at full pace, it doesn't matter. I love Robin Brooks's mantra. I've taken it on. A lot of people doing a little creates a lot. In fact, in your network, well, especially in mine, if every single partner just signed up 1 customer a month, I would have over 2,500 customers a month coming on board. I would be really happy. If Andrew Lindsay had every partner doing 1 customer a month, that would be in a month over 68,000 customers. They would be absolutely overjoyed. It doesn't happen, folks. Why? Because everybody is a voluntary person in this. This is something that is a side gig. They're doing it on the side. They're a multi-income individual. That's the modern name for it. This is something that is maybe not their full focus, and we have to accept that. It says tailor how you communicate. So with people, we have to be mindful that everybody's different. You know, there are some people that like direct information. Other people can't bear direct information. I'm quite sure I rub a lot of people up the wrong way. And there are other people that I'm sure they think, oh, Lisa, why couldn't you be more direct? Yeah. So we have to sort of make sure of that. Learn about the 4 colour personalities. Big Al. Biggest thing you can ever do for yourself. If you have never, ever taken on board or read or listened to Big Al, Tom Schreiter's 4 colour personalities, you've missed a trick. I would say more than any other personal development, that book alone can help you go forward. In fact, it can help you in life. And it says use different methods of communication. We've all got our favourites. For me, I like WhatsApp because it's kind of instant, and you know if somebody's got hold of your message or not, you know, because you see it tick, and then when it goes blue, hopefully they've read it. Use the fast start system with people and support new partners. There's all sorts of stuff there. All right. Run team meetings. I don't know if all of you know, some of you may not know that have come on. This Zoom thing started up a couple of months into lockdown because I thought, oh, flipping heck, we're not getting out and about. We can't see folk. Do you remember who used to come? I know loads of you did. Lindsay, you came, and I know that Michael Parnas couldn't. Lindsay used to come, and Dawn, and I used to run a once a month coaching that was kind of combined with a opportunity presentation, and I used to get speakers and everything, and it was great because I really believe in the power of getting together. And then lockdown happened, and of course it all went doolally, didn't it? So I decided to do this, but I actually think it's a great way that we can engage more people from all over the place. Yeah, so, and a lot of people don't come on because it's bad timing, and I get that, 4:30. But what I do see, because I've got access to see it, I can't believe how many people do follow up and watch the half an hour on YouTube or on the link that goes out afterwards. So it has a place to help folk. Now, let me now just zoom in super fast and tell you the benefits of building a team. Okay. So if we go back, okay, click on your learning portal, click on the A to Z, and click on P for planning. And there we go, planning for promotion. Okay, this is really good, guys. This will help you, because I know we may have to home in on this into more detail, but it's all about a lot of people doing a little creates a lot. So if we clicked on, for example, getting to team leader. Come on. Yeah, there's a way to click these things, isn't there? Anybody notice that you can't just click it and it happens? Right. So there is a planner, and it's certainly worth printing off. And I would say write in pencil because it's going to be fluid. It's telling you about bonuses. But what I think is important, it tells you about structure. So a team leader, between all of you, have a group of 50 customers. And then you personally have 10. That's the minimum. And you must personally, different legs have at least one qualified distributor 3 times. Now, what could happen is, I think there's another, no, it doesn't show it there, but there could be people, there could be someone before this person that only had 1 customer. But you know, I said people bring in people. Well, that person with 1 customer may not have found this their jolly thing that they wanted to do, but they knew somebody and brought them in, and they turn out to be the somebody that's a minimum QD, and a QD is minimum 3 customers. Now, if you add this up, guys, 10, 3, 3, and 3, it comes to 19. That doesn't equate to 50. Obviously, everyone has a lot more. Okay, they have a lot more. You probably have a lot more QDs and partners in there altogether. But what it does is it gives you your chance to structure it. And put it this way, imagine you brought in, let's say, 7 people, okay, and you're working with those 7. Some could have all sorts of challenges going on and they can't do anything for a while, but maybe another 4 of them do work, and all the time it means more heads are better than 1. More activity is better than just your activity. That's fabulous. And that's why it's important to build. So let's go back and let's go to the next level, getting to senior team leader. So what you've got now is there's you with a minimum of 15 personal, a group of 250. You've got to have 2 team leaders like you previously saw. So 2 of those. So there's a team leader with their minimum 3. There's another one with their minimum 3. And then in addition, 3 separate QDs to you, all separate. And it probably won't look like that. It will look a lot more complex than that, but that's the structure. So now imagine if you just plodded along, let's take myself. So for 2 years, I plodded along and I got 1 customer. So in 24 months, I had 24 customers. That wasn't a lot of activity. But had I been a little bit smarter and shown the opportunity to folk, because in those days it was a little bit different the way we did things, I could have had other people working and they could have been building a business instead of just me. Isn't that great? Does that make sense? So let me now come back to seeing you and say the next level is group leader. And a group leader, you have a senior team leader, 3 team leaders, all right, and a couple of QDs, and all between you 750 group. Now, Dawn here, unbeknown to her, you didn't bring in Paul Thomas. Stuart did. Stuart, because when you work, guys, we see it and we want to help you. This business is all about helping others. And so Dawn was doing a bit. I was helping her. And a chap called Paul Thomas was placed direct to Dawn. Paul Thomas last month went team leader. And Dawn has to be honest, Dawn had nothing to do with that team leader leg. It all kind of happened through Paul. How nice was that? Now, if she gets another team leader, before she knows it, she's a senior team leader. That's why you never quit. Because if you do a little, it can happen. I'm working in an area now which is under Mel, and I am bringing people in. I'm a bit slow this month, but I will get there. And I'm working with people and supporting those partners, and stuff starting to grow. And that's the key. So let's share this. Over 20 years, nearly 21, my stats tell me now, I think I'm a 703 personal customers. You go, wow, marvellous. Actually, has anyone actually sat and worked the ratios out? It's not that clever. I promise it's not. Because obviously some have passed away, some have left the country, and customers leave. That's a fact, all right? They do. So to kind of keep level, I think I have to do roundabout something like, I've got to do roundabout 30 to keep level a year. Well, obviously I've done more than that, but it's not that clever. But I want to share with you that I've brought in some people and I've worked with them, and I've shared those, the various SGLs and the ones that are emerging and coming up. I've got Mr. Bob Maunder with his harem of women in the West Country. He's on his way to group leader. And this stuff is happening. And yes, I'm at the end of the phone and I support stuff. But what's really good is if I look at my business, and this is to share, lots of the effort is not all me now, by any means. I cannot take the credit. Lots of it is happening without me. So I am now, as Mr. Critchley would say, starting to become inconsequential to my income. That is what we're out to do. We're out to replace us with people that are better than us, because I am really just a smidgen away from 25,000 group customers. And I actually earn 4 times more of my team's customers than my personal. Isn't the power of building a team, a network of people doing bits, isn't that more impressive? Yeah. So when I had a challenge, like in December, Dad cracked his pelvis and ended up in hospital, and I spent every day picking my mum up and going to the hospital and spending all day doing this stuff, and I wasn't working, it didn't stop people. That's the key. It carried on without me, and that's amazing. Now, I had a bit of a strange one on Saturday. Sunday morning, as I do every morning, I have a look and see what's gone on the night before. And wow, on Saturday, nobody gathered a customer. Like, whoa. And I thought, flipping heck, have they all gone to sleep? That included me, by the way. No, they hadn't gone to sleep. It was just one of those days. Because the day before, I'd seen something like, I think it was 15. And the day before that, 7. And can you imagine seeing all these customers happening and all these partners coming in, nothing to do with me? In fact, the growth of the team and the amount of people coming on, I have to say, is out of my control. It's not me that's actually having the impact. In the early days, I did, but not now. That is the key to this. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you think you've got to be magical, you've got to have some brilliance at building a team, you haven't. You've just got to open up your shop, which is open up your mouth, because people don't know what you do, and you've got to impart it. Now, I'm going to just share another little thing which is powerful, and it's an analogy to this. So yesterday I dropped into the local Tesco with my bits and bobs. Does anybody else go into the supermarket for one thing and comes out with 15 items? That was me. All right. So there I am. And I always queue because I want to keep people in work. I don't go self-checkout. And I'm really glad I did. This is absolutely true. So I've got me bits and bobs. And then on the back wall next to the cashier, I spotted this advert promotion. And it was about basically the Red Cross wanting money, people to give for Syria, I don't know, Iran. There's always one country or another, isn't there? And I looked at it and it riled me. All right. It riled me. And I'm the kind of person that can't hold things in. I embarrass one sometimes because I speak out loud. Okay. And there was the woman in front, she was waiting her turn because the woman that was being served took ages. This is all relevant. And I looked at her, she was looking at it as well. And then as she veered her sight away and looked at me, I went, I used to give to stuff like that all the time. I said, but about 10 years ago, I found out that the CEO of the British Red Cross earned 680,000 a year salary. And I said, that riled me. I said, because I've over the years been giving to this charity, that charity, and often by standing order. And I keep thinking, where's all this money going? And she went, yeah, I feel the same. Now, hear this. To which I said, I've brought it down now to charities that I know the money actually gets to the people. And I said, one of them, I said, is actually by a friend in my business. I said, her name's Karen Williams. And I said, she's amazing. She set up this thing called the Buddy Bag Foundation. And I briefly said what it was about. Poor kids basically fleeing from their homes, violence with women in the middle of the night, got nothing on them. And these rucksacks are full of all the necessaries that they need, you know, gym jams, underwear, a flannel, so, you know, the stuff that they need. You're thinking, where's Lisa going with this? I know you are. Right, let me explain. I said this and she turned around and said, wow, what a wonderful thing. I said, yeah. And I said, the interesting thing is, many years ago, my youngest daughter used to work in one of these refuges. And I said, I know, because the women, she'd say, would turn up with the kids with nothing. And I said, these are what we call bags of love. I said, they're aimed at all the different ages. And I said, you know what I love? Every penny that is by standing order that I donate every month, I said, is going to some really needy child. And I know it's being used, and every penny. And I said, funny enough, I said, last year, I said, Karen received was it an OBE from the Queen?
Yeah.
And I said, it's really good. She turned round and said, wow. She then got out a pen and paper and said, what's the name of that charity? I said, oh, it's the Buddy Bag Foundation. I said, you've only got to look it up, stick it in Google, let it come up. She said, I'm going to set up a standing order too. I went, wow, how wonderful. Now, why have I bothered to tell you that? I'll tell you why. Because the power of speech and enthusiasm and intonation is astonishing. There is another person now that I have passionately affected who is going to donate to a very worthy cause, nothing to do with our business, but to a very worthy cause, all because I bothered to speak. Had I said nothing, would she have known? No, never. This is the same with this business. It's exactly the same. If you don't ever tell anybody, if you never bother to speak to people, and I don't mean sticking things through doors, it will probably end up in the recycling bin. Yes, you could do neighbour letters, but you have got to knock that door and engage, because the power of our passion and our energy and our value is actually what engages people. It isn't the written word, I promise. The written word doesn't do it. It is us. We make the difference. So I'm going to next week go in deeper into the whole looking at the business and how you can engage with your team. I'm going to go in deeper next week about that, but I wanted to share why it's important to talk and bring in people. It really is. It's not about keeping it to yourself. Yes, you can be a retailer. That's what we call people that just get customers. They're retailers. That's fine. But you know what? That's almost a job. It's almost a job. Yeah. Now, I want to share just last thing. We're a couple of minutes over, but we've got Rod on here. And Rod is a wonderful chap who is deep in my Scottish team, very, very deep down. You've got senior group leaders above you and all sorts of stuff. In fact, I think you've got 1, 2, 3, and then me. I'm at the top of the fourth, all right? But I promised Helen Frank, who basically has had all sorts of health issues and lost dear Theo last year as well. And I promised never to let go, and I would still be support. And that's what I'm doing. Now, Rod has been plodding away, doing bits here and there, bit of business networking and stuff. And he's had some relative success and a lot of things where it looks like it's gone to a dead end. I've got loads of that. All right, Rod, I've got loads of it, I promise. But he's kept going. And what's happened, he's now brought in somebody who really likes this. And he's gone QD star so fast. So fast. And that chap is really networking, isn't he? I think you pronounce his name Yusuf.
It is Yusuf, yes.
Yusuf.
Yeah.
His wife's name's a lot easier. It's the surname. It's the surname I struggle with.
Yeah, no, I'll pass on that one.
But I rang Rod on Friday morning to give him some advice on how to take it further. All right, because I'm not in there to just come in and take over. I'm in there to support the person that's brought the person in. That's my main role. Because why don't I want to go straight to Yusuf and give him advice? I'll tell you why. Because I'm taking away leadership then of Rod. I want to elevate Rod. I want to help him. Yeah. And so give him the advice. See, there's method in my madness. This is the stuff I've learned from Mr. Critch. Give Rod the advice to know what to do to elevate him to become a better leader. That's what it's all about. So on that note, folks, it's been absolutely lovely to share another half hour with you. And next week, we will continue this journey and see you all this time next week. Thank you very much indeed.
A quick word, Lisa. We were both, Yusuf and I were at Mr. Critchley gave a buzz up here in Scotland. Lots of good advice today. Yes.
Marvellous stuff. He's brilliant, isn't he? And he's had an amazing promotion, don't you?
Absolutely.
Is the network aware? He is the very first person ever to go 5-star NNL.
And he was speaking very highly of you today.
Yeah, he mentioned you. You're right.
How nice. I never think that I'm that much of a person, to be honest. I consider myself a bit of a plodder. I will get there. But I take his
Well,
words.
if we all plodded like you, would be doing all right. You're very humble. You're smashing it.
Oh, well, I think he is. I think he's humble. He is an amazing man that's got time for everybody. And the amount of times he has supported me when I've been at rock bottom, because we all have those moments, believe me, where we think we're useless and nothing goes right. And I promise you, they're all there all the time, especially if we're having a time when we're a little bit ill as well, because it doesn't frame you, focus you well. And he's been a tower of support. And what I love about him is he's a tower of support even to those people not in his network, which I think is very humble. That's nice. Right, guys, on that note, let's go. See you next week.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Lisa.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.